Right, okay. Welcome everybody. If somebody could just say something in chat that I have audio and you can hear me and you can see everything. Total amateur here, by the way. So somebody just say yes or no if you can hear me. Anyone? Okay. It's a bit low. Right, okay. Let me just check. So audio's a bit low. Let's turn this up a bit. Okay. How is that? Is that better? A bit better? A little bit better? Yeah? Is that good? Still too low? Or am I intelligible? Can you hear me enough to understand? Right, good. Okay, thank you, Lee. Great, perfect. Okay, we'll take that. All right, okay, so folks, thanks for coming along. And so we are going to, what are we going to do today? So we're going to create a nono package. Okay, so first of all, we're going to try out a new coding agent, anti-gravity, released about 4 or 5 days ago, the CLI. So we are going to run this completely vanilla, no policy, expect to get some exceptions, try to log in, build a profile. I've already got some pre-built scripts and hooks to save you watching me trying to figure those out on the live stream. We'll batch those together, we'll put them up to a repo, and we will then set up an action to populate them on the registry, and hopefully we can do all of that within an hour. So let's see. First time doing this stream and doing this live, so we'll do our best. And help me out in chat if anything doesn't seem obvious. There's an echo going on. I wonder if that's maybe this live stream. What would cause an echo? Is it really bad? Okay, all right. So I will try and figure it out as I go along. Right, so we've got a terminal. Let me just move the chat into place. Okay, right, so anti-gravity. I just installed this earlier, so you can see the AGI is already installed. AGY, sorry, which is the sort of shortened acronym for the anti-gravity agent. Okay, and this is developed in Go, I believe, but it uses a standard layout that you get with coding agents. Yes, it's a new CLI, so just come out. I think that previously it was Gemini, and so I did hit a lot of bugs, and that's why I didn't turn up too prepared, because I was just trying to fix some stuff before we came on. But yeah, AGY, you just pass it in, okay, and you can see we actually have a virgin unused system. Okay, so we're going to have to try to get past the OAuth and get the initial policy in place. Now this, I don't know why it cannot be control escaped, so I'm just going to have to quickly just dig this out and kill it. Okay, so let's see what's the PID of this. Where is it? RG, is it this one? Yeah, that was it. Okay, so let's get rid of that terminal. Okay, and what we're going to do, so straight away we're going to try and run this in nono. What's going on with my, oh all right, there's some sort of weird escape thing. Hold on, let's just create a new one. Okay, right, so what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to do nono run, and we'll use the default profile, which is very, very bare bones. There's not much in there at all. It's typically enough just to get you going, and I fully expect this to fail, so I'll run that. Okay, and then straight away you can see there is some denials by the sandbox, but then we've also got some useful information that we can add. So typically when you create a new agent, you go through this process of iterating over and over, allowing permissions until you get it running. So it doesn't typically take too much. And you can see this defaults to grant. So I'm going to leave all of these as grant. I'm probably going to switch off my local directory. Go source is a little bit kind of, I probably want to dig into that a little bit more, but because this is a tutorial, a demo, we don't want to do that now. So I'm just going to leave that as grant. So I'm going to leave all of those as grant. And then if I hit enter, you'll see it allows me to set a profile name. So I'm just going to use AGY. Okay. And actually, let's use the full name, anti-gravity. Okay. And then that is saved. Okay. So now I've got this, Nono has told me how to use the new profile. So again, we will iterate on that. We'll run that. Okay. And we've got a bit further now. So we're actually in the CLI. And you can see that it wants to use Google OAuth or use a Google Cloud account project. I don't have the second one set up, but should be able to use my corporate Google account for OAuth 2. So I'll run that. Okay, and we've got something else interesting here. We've got a warn that the supervisor denied a URL from opening. Okay, and sorry, something just popped up on the screen there. Now, this is to be expected because we need to allow the agent to trigger the execution of the browser, pipe in the OAuth 2 URL so that we can go through the login account. We've actually got a patch coming up that makes this a lot cleaner, so you won't have to deal with this big warn message, and it actually automates that for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to do the kill thing again. So there it is. I know I can use pkill. Anybody's saying that? Is that the right one? Where is it? Okay, no, sorry, there it is. Actually, no, it's the one in nono, of course it is. So, okay, there we go. All right, let's clear that. Hopefully that hasn't it's broken the sudo terminal again. So let's start again. They've got something weird going on with their TUI. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open our new profile, which would have been created. So going to go into config, no, there it is. Okay, and where is it? Oh no, anti-gravity, of course. Okay, and I'm just going to have to add an additional policy here. So I want this open URLs and allow launch services. So I've got one I made earlier, which I'm just going to grab. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So effectively we're saying that you are allowed to open URLs. Let's just fix the formatting to Google's auth domain. Okay. And allow localhost. So this allows a local loopback because it's OAuth 2. So it's going to try to open a browser, present me with a login account screen. I'm going to then grant that OAuth 2 grant, and it's going to come back and it's going to pin open a hole for localhost for that to actually kind of come back to the sandbox agent. So we'll save that. And what we'll do now is we'll do nono run again. And this time, right, okay, so you can't see that, but my browser's opened, which is great. So I'm just going to go through the process to sign in, and it's giving me a code. I don't know if these codes are long term. Some of you might see it. I'll try and cancel it afterwards. But there you go, we're logged in. Okay. Now, what I would typically do is just do another exit because there may have been some more captures. Okay, some more denials that we might want to include. So I'll do that, yeah, and sure enough, so we can see it wants to use playwright. It wants to use a kind of a subdirectory that I have, local bin. All right, there's nothing particularly too nasty here, so in the interest of time, I'm just going to grant these. So I'm going to hit enter, okay, and it's updated my anti-gravity policy. So if I look at that, you can see we now will have some extra paths that are added, okay. And I reckon we are probably good now. So we can do nono run, we sign in, we trust that folder, and we're in, okay. Now, we don't have a plugin installed yet, so this really wouldn't know about nono. So if I was to do ls, let's do documents, we should see anti-gravity start to thrash around quite a bit. Project ride open, permitted. Okay. All right, so there is actually some more grants. Okay, so like I said, this is an iterative process. Okay, there we go. So Gemini's got its own directory there. And I'm going to remove that because that's my current working directory. So we'll grant that. And once again, like I said, it can take a few iterations, this, because each time it gets a bit further. Okay, and we could ls documents. Right, so it's asking for read permissions. I'm going to say yes. This is very new. I don't know if they have a dangerous skip permissions, but what you're going to notice is the agent's going to start to thrash. And it seems to be nono aware already because it knows about nono y. So I do wonder if I left the residue of a plugin from where I was panicking trying to get this working just before the start. So yeah, it seems to be nono y, but it's still worth us going through the plugin structure and what's required there. So we will start from new there. So you can see it's offering to create a custom profile for me. So we won't dig into this now, but this is all driven by hooks and a skill file, which are part of the package. So the package will put all of these hooks in place and register the plugin. Okay. So right, we're going to exit out. And again, we've got some more permissions that it wants. There's a package mod and user local go bin. So it's basically, these are all part of its runtime. I'm happy to grant those. Okay. So I'd predict we're probably at the end of grants there. Like I said, it's an iteration progress. We can't sort of just, we have to sort of capture these things with denials. That's the way it works with Mac OS. With Linux, we have a more sort of fluid system that's coming in. But now we've got a good profile. Okay, so we have our anti-gravity profile. So what I am going to do now is I am going to port this into a package that I've sketched out. Okay, so you'll see we have an anti-gravity package. Okay, so if we look at the structure here, there's a hook script. It's a hooks JSON, which kind of configures the hook script that we're going to use. It's a package JSON, a plugin.json. That's again an anti-gravity property artifact. There is a policy. I'm going to actually replace that with the one that we just created. We've got a skills file and we've got some wiring. So we'll go through each of those. So if I step into this directory and I'm going to remove the profile, the policy. And what we will do is, if I have it here, .config, no profiles, anti-gravity, and we put that local and we call that same name again, policy. Okay, so let's have a look at what's in a package. Okay, so I think the first one to start with is the package.json. Okay, and this determines how the package is installed. In here, you declare some information, some metadata, the platforms that are supported. So when we install to the package, there is platform awareness. There's a platform predicate, so you can put files into different locations if needed. We list the artifacts, and then you'll see there's these plugin files. Okay, so these are all just ways of labeling the artifact properties that we want to be part of that package install. And then we get into the wiring, and there's certain little functions, helpers that you can use here to write files. And there is also of interest to us is there's ways of working with JSON, YAML, and TOML. So this is just where you need to slice and dice little entries into the coding configs directives effectively. So if you're enabling a plugin, you would want to typically work with the coding agent's settings.json or config.toml and sort of add your package, your script, your skills and so forth to that particular file. So it's fairly rudimentary, but it works for installing most packages on for coding agents. Okay, so we have that in place now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, so I've actually got a local script that I can share with people that we use during development, and it allows us just to install packages without having to push it up to the registry, publish it, and pull it down. So we're going to actually just do a fresh install here. Make sure this is all okay. And you can see this is just symlinking to our development directory. Okay. Now, if I was to run, I think it's AGY plugins list, you'll see there's the nono anti-gravity plugin that's been populated. So again, if I was to quickly remove that and we run that again, there's no imported plugins. So you can see we are piggybacking on the existing plugin system marketplace that the coding agent has. And we do this for Claude Code, Codex, and others. So we'll install that again. Okay, and we'll just sort of sanity check that is there. We'll run anti-gravity again. Let's try and see if we can get it to do something more interesting. So will it cat our private key? Analyzing security protocols. So it's diverted straight to asking the sandbox. So you can see it's read the skill. It seems to have some sort of inbuilt system anyhow. But you know, another one we could try our home directory. It's actually going to try and do that. So that bash will fail. And then straight away you can see, because of the skill, it knows that there is a helper that it can run, nono y, to diagnose why the denial happened. So you can see it wants to run nono y path. Why can't I read the home directory? Okay, and what sort of operation it's a read. So we allow that to run. I'm pretty sure there is some sort of YOLO mode where you wouldn't see all this kind of manual approval of commands. That's typically what we recommend people do when they're running something in nono, is run dangerously skip permissions, because you declare the sandbox profile, and that's non-negotiable with your coding agent. So this is offering to make a quick fix for us, which is to make an entry to the existing profile that we have. So I don't know how well it could do that. We could have a try. This might be a laugh. It might fail miserably because I haven't actually tested this yet. So it knows that there's a nono profile guide, which will give it information around how to populate an entry. Right, it's having problems with the command, so that's spinning a bit. So sometimes you need to just adjust the skill file a little bit to sort of purpose the agent a little bit better. But most of them don't really give us too much trouble. All right, I'm gonna quit on this in the interest of time, and we will look at publishing. Okay, so one of the key things that we have with our package, if I actually come back, okay, and we go to GitHub, workflows, publish anti-gravity, you'll notice there's an action, okay, and this is pretty simple. It uses the generic GitHub checkout action to get the code, and then there is a little bit of kind of slicing and dicing to get the version, the semantic version. And then the key thing really is this agent sign, okay, which is an action which we maintain and have published for people to use. And this effectively allows you to do a cryptographic sign-in using nono within the GitHub workflow. And we do like a token exchange with GitHub, and then we're able to make a transparency log entry. This is the kind of cryptographic record system that we use in Sigstore. And we then do an exchange with the registry, and we capture all of that information. And then each time from there on that somebody does nono pull to pull down the package, we check that it originates from the actual org and repository from where it was published, from where that workflow was run. So I skipped around a little bit there, but the workflow is attested, it's cryptographically captured, the commit SHA, the workflow that run it. These are all stored, signed. When you do nono pull, it does the reverse. It verifies, it cryptographically verifies that the particular package comes from the source of origin that it claims to come from. So this way you don't have to worry about, you know, you might be using a package and somebody's account gets compromised, or they sort of you know, they somehow maintain a takeover, something bad happens, you got that guarantee of at least knowing where it came from. Okay, so what we will need to do now, I'm going to need to get a quick browser session. So if anybody wants to take a quick break, now's a good opportunity. I'm not going to be too long, but I just need to swap around screens because we're going to go to the registry. Okay. Right, okay. So you can hopefully see that okay. So this is the registry. And before we can push up a release, we need to just stub out the package on the registry. So there's somewhere to receive the package when it's pushed up. So I'm actually logged in. So, you know, if we look here, this is all you require is a GitHub login. Okay. And we're going to go to publish package. I need to set up my 2FA. Again, it's not good doing 2FA on a live stream, but I will refresh my token afterwards. So let me just grab that. Okay, if I've done things right, it should be okay. Let me just let's do this. Let's do it the safe way. Okay, it's actually starred out, so you wouldn't have seen it. Right, okay, so I'm going to go to publish pack. Now, when you log in and sign up to the registry, you grant a GitHub app access to elements of your GitHub account, but there's no write access or the ability to change anything. It's essentially we just get the username and the list of orgs that you're part of, okay, because you need to effectively tie it to a namespace. So you can see I've got 2 orgs that I've assigned, and these are GitHub orgs. One is my personal GitHub and the other is Always Further. I'm going to use Always Further because that's where we're going to publish this. We're going to give it a package name, so I'm going to call it anti-gravity. Spelt that right? Yep, okay. There's a repository, so it's going to be Always Further. And it's actually going to be nono packs in my case, because we keep all of our packages as sub packages in a repo. So you'll see here there's a subdirectory, so I'm going to do nono packs anti gravity. Okay, I'm not going to bother with any tags. License I'm going to leave as MIT. And another key one is we have this workflow which I showed you earlier, and I need to change that because it's actually hyphen anti-gravity, and that is it. So let me just double check everything, sanity check. Okay, so we create pack. All right, so we need a description, so anti-gravity no package. All right, so we create that, and then it gives you an example of the GitHub action that you need to populate. Okay, so that's kind of preset for you. So that is set up now. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to come back to the terminal. Okay, and I am going to push. So where are we? So okay, publish anti-gravity. Just looking for any foot guns. Okay, so we're okay. So I'm going to add these. I'm going to do a commit message, add anti-gravity package. sign commit. Okay. Git push origin T-gravity. I don't know, Alexi, if you're on the live stream, you can maybe approve that and merge it for me. So let's see. Create pull request. Let me just share the view of the GitHub repo. So again, let's just have a quick look at everything. We've got our action. We have our denial text, the hook, the skill file, which makes the agent aware of how to work with nono. This is just a little marker that we use for when we're creating profiles with the agent. It happens outside of the protected area where we want to protect sensitive areas, elements. The hooks JSON, the package.json, which we looked at earlier. The plugin, which is an anti-gravity artifact that you're required to have for a plugin. And then the policy, which we generated earlier. Okay, so you'll see where we put in the open URLs edition. And there's a README as well. Okay, so we come back and let's see. Don't know if any one of the team is on and you can do a quick approve. That'd be great. If not, I'll probably just have to self-merge. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to self-merge. Okay, so it's living dangerously, isn't it? So there we go. So I wouldn't typically do that. Okay, right. So what will happen now is we come across to actions. Okay, and you can see there is a series of previous ones that are run. I'm going to go to our new one, which is, where is our, right, I can see something I've done wrong. I've named it the same as Claude. So let me just quickly amend that. I did say a few things are likely to go wrong, so we're seeing a few already. So let me just quickly fix that. So basically I used the same name for the workflow as an existing one because it was a copy pasta. So I just need to do a quick rename. Probably quicker to do it in my IDE. All right. So it's coming. I'm just doing a little bit of git stash and rebasing. Okay, check out anti-gravity fix. Okay, and right, okay, another pull request coming up if anybody's there to review and merge. All right, so there we go. So what did I do? So you can see I did a total silly thing, which was I copied the Claude one and didn't rename it. So we should be good there now. So we'll create a pull request. Let me just surface for a minute, look at the chat. So got a few questions here. So JK at control plane, the optional suggests it would take the default of MIT. How does it actually function? It's just actually a text field on the package. So it doesn't enforce anything. It's just literally a placeholder. It's just a text value in a database shown on the UI. The license name will just, okay, Alexi's replied to you there. Okay, so let me come back and so, right, okay, stealthy box is there. That's good. And yeah, there we go. Alexi's approved it. So we'll merge that. Okay. Right, so we'll come back to our actions. And we've now got a publish anti-gravity pack. Okay. But last of all, what I need to do is just quickly cut a tag. Okay, so we're really close. Just bear with me. I'll very quickly do this. So let me just check the version that we have. Anti-gravity package JSON. So 0.1.0. So let me actually share this so you can see what I'm doing. It may be useful. Actually, it's probably just quicker if I... Anti-gravity. Okay, I'm just pushing up a tag. Right, so if we come back and come to our actions. Okay, so there's a publish, and that's green, which is good. And we've got the tag. So if we look at the publish job, that looks good. That's actually worked. So you can see that in here, we sign all the files, create something called a bundle. It's a signature bundle. You can see there's an OIDC token dance between GitHub and the registry. We upload, we publish, and in there somewhere will be a transparency log entry, which is, yeah, here you go. So there's a log index, so that's in the log. And that is now signed. So if we now come back to our registry, so typically with the registry, we just always review the first few packages, okay? And there should be one for anti-gravity. Okay, so somebody's approved that for me. I imagine that maybe Alexi or Stephen or somebody got there before me, which is great. So we got our package now, so that's fully published. So if we look, we got our first version. There's all our files. You can see the provenance information. This shows where it originated from. Okay, the artifact digest, the recore entry, and so we know this maps all the way back to the source of origin. We've now got the, you can view the files if you wanted to. There's a file viewer, and you can edit various attributes. So that worked well. That's good. So what we can do now is we can come back to our terminal. Okay, let's get rid of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my helper script just to remove the inbuilt one. Okay, so it's going to remove all those symlinks where I was testing the development earlier. Okay, and the plugin list is empty. So imagine somebody's new, they want to use that package, so they could nono search, and they may put anti-gravity. Okay, and there you go, there's the package that we just pushed up, so that's available now. So now what they can do is nono pull, pass in the name, okay, and all of those files that we pushed up are available. and it's installed. Okay, so hopefully now if we do plugins list, yeah, there's our plugin. Okay, so that's installed. So what you could do now is you can nono or run, and instead of using this local profile, we can profile and always further, and then anti-gravity GY. Okay, and there's our full package and profile working. Okay, and that's available to maintain, update as we need to. And I think just some of the last stuff that'd be interesting to look at. So earlier on, so of course the package can also, so if I was to change this to remove, just to get rid of it again, a user doesn't even need to do run. Okay, so if I just run with a profile, because it's not present, it will actually pull that down. Okay, and there we have it. So I think just another interesting thing just to walk through is, let's come back to the other folder. Don't know why I'm in demo. So if we open the package.json, so there is a version. So this is our first release. There's a minimum nono version, so you can actually pin to a specific version of nono, because sometimes the schema changes in nono, and so you can pin to a particular version. You've got some control there. And then with those pins, if somebody was to run nono outdated, it would list any packages that have an update available, and so that when they run nono run and they call your profile, if you've made an update and you've cut a new tag, a new release, then it will offer them the opportunity, to upgrade your package effectively. So there's a full upgrade path. Likewise, something else that people often do is they'll do nono profile init to create a new profile. Okay, and what we can do is, so I've got one here for open-clode, but we'll change that to anti-gravity. We're going to give it a full schema, and we could just call that AG, because I'm lazy and I don't like typing out that long name. Okay, and that will mint a new profile for us, so we can then validate that profile. Okay, and then if we actually look at that profile, what we'll notice is it extends the root profile, which we provided as to the extends flag, but it's got its own individual name. So now users can start to build in their own logic on top if they require some strange directory sharing, or they want to kind of nail down their own domains that are allowed and effectively sort of write their own policy to a degree, but stack it on top of yours. They can do. You don't have to accept lots of weird and wonderful pull requests to add strange directories for FreeBSD running Nix package manager, or something like that that's rather obscure. And they can then also benefit from the update system. So if you were to update your package, which is the parent package under extends, and then they were running a package which extends your package, your update will be flagged up to them, so they can stay up to date as well. So it's not a full package system, but it's sufficient for what we need to do. And what we're doing at the moment, the registry is in alpha, but it's working pretty good. Seems pretty robust. So we really encourage folks to make use of this. It's you can store your profiles there. You don't even have to do a full package. You can store your profiles there, or if you have like an agent that you developed yourself, you want to share it around with people, you're welcome to use our system to be able to distribute the package around. Or it may not even be a coding agent. You may have a Python project where you run nono and then you call some sort of Python entry point or a compiled Go binary, or anything really, anything that you can wrap in nono, you can build a package around. And so that concludes today. We got right to the end. It actually all worked. I'm quite surprised, because it was quite frantic before the stream started, trying to figure out some peculiarities that there are in anti-gravity, but it's it all came good. So we can end the stream there a little bit early, but let me just check if there's any last questions. Okay, it's quite a bit, so I can see Alexi's filled in those, so great. Okay, so I think we can conclude there, and we will do another one of these shortly. Anything in particular you want to see, do come along to our Discord and ask, and we'd be happy to do that for the community. Likewise, if there's anything that I've kind of glossed over and doesn't make sense and you'd like me to go into a little bit more, or you want to know if something extra is possible, please do come along and ask. We always love getting questions. And so yeah, we can conclude there. Thanks all. Take care. Bye bye.